I got a planet to run around. Okay, okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now. You doubted me, nothing to talk about.
All right. As far as I can tell, I think we're live, dude.
We're on?
Yeah, we are on.
All right.
I'm assuming it's hopefully like someone's watching. Jamie Lee or someone. Do I have comments up? Yeah, what comments up? Because then someone can comment and say, hey, no, you're not up. But it says broadcast, and it's got all the little boxes up there at the top. The most important one is that PR's all day one up top. So we're good. Hey, everybody. Good morning, Jackson.
Good morning.
Jackson is essentially our there he is. Okay, yeah. So Jamie Lee says he's there. Jamie Lee is under the weather for about the 10th time this year.
We're lucky when he's not. If he's not under the weather, it's a very rare occasion.
Yeah, he has 2 children, and they are of that age where they get exposed to other kids, and then they bring it home. And then this time, though, I guess to blame is Christy Lee. Apparently, Christy Lee was sick this weekend. It's never Jamie's fault, though.
As long as I'm not getting blamed on here, I'm happy with that.
But so he asked me, and I feel kind of bad because when I was sick, I said, "No, let's delay the podcast." I was so vain that I had to push it away for a week. And this time, though, I said, "No, let's do this," because when Jackson was here and Jackson's available, he was coaching all this morning, privates with his clients. And the topic I wanted to talk about was the quarterfinals. Now, we had planned to have, this is actually, and I don't mean to tell you, poor Jackson, that he's like the third choice, but you're the third choice.
I'll take it.
You're actually the second choice because Yvonne was going to come on, and I thought it'd be cool to talk to Yvonne with Jamie here and talk about preparing for the Masters qualifier, quarterfinals. The age group quarterfinals are coming up. She couldn't do it. And then Jamie and I were going to talk about what happened with the quarterfinals, but you're here, which is even better because for those of you that don't know, Jackson Millers are arguably our top male athlete at Diablo, did not do the quarterfinals, but he did a couple of the workouts.
I did. Yeah. I tested workout 1. I tested.
Okay. Workout 1.
Yeah.
Which is a cool one. We can talk about that one. That one's an important one. And I want to talk about that. I want in lieu of the movements that are in it, but I want to talk about that one in particular because that one seemed to be very decisive for not only our athletes, but also like overall athletes as well.
Yeah. I was noticing a lot of scores, big numbers in that one, kind of out of place numbers, which was surprising because I was expecting to see it with like the crossovers.
Right.
You see big athletes, you're thinking the crossovers is going to trip somebody up, but it seemed more that the wall-facing handstand push-ups, I guess the wall-facing handstand push-ups ended up being a more challenging movement.
Yeah, I think so. We saw it with the top women for sure. But so I wanted to review, kind of take people through the quarterfinals at all that Jackson also, in addition to competing, which he will be doing in 2 weeks. Or a week and a half with the team TEAM competition. He also helps run our RX Plus program and was managing, coordinating, and bringing athletes through those workouts this weekend. So he was here all weekend, helping people get through them effectively in the best way possible. I'll pull up the results in a moment. Then because I kind of want to talk about the performance overall. But were there any workouts that were redoable?
I believe the only one that people were looking at redoing was number 3.
And number 3,
that was the burpee box jump over.
With the clean and jerk.
With the clean and jerk. And I think what a lot of people noticed was this year there was no building into the heavyweights. Bosman kind of set the standard for what he expects a quarterfinals athlete to be able to move. So a lot of them were looking at that first barbell, both on that workout and workout 1 with the 225 front squats that started at 155, 225, that that was going to be a really high percentage for them. So those
Right.
athletes decided to do it when they were completely fresh, rather than having it be the third test and doing it under fatigue. So you could do that one first and then still have the time to get it a second attempt at it. But most of the other workouts were one and done for all of our athletes.
Yeah, the men's weight on the clean and jerks was 275 and the women's weight 185. Were all of our women that were doing the quarterfinals able to hit that weight?
Not all of them. Most of them were, though.
Some were.
Yeah, I think all but maybe one of our athletes.
Where do you think, just to give people some perspective on the 275 and the 185, let's say 1,000, just to put a number on it. Well, let's say 1,500, or let's say 1,000 athletes, 1,000 men did it, and 1,000 women in the in our, what is it, North America West region, or America West region. Sure how they
North
label
America
it.
West.
North America West.
Yeah.
Let's say there's 1,000 men and 1,000 women that are doing the quarterfinals. Of those 1,000 each, how many are able to, what percentage are able to actually hit, in your opinion, the clean and jerk, one clean and jerk at 275 and one clean and jerk at 185?
I couldn't even give you an accurate number on that. We were surprised. I will say some of our girls who got a little bit deeper into that workout, we were surprised that their scores didn't place better. I think more people can hit that weight, especially on the women's side, than anticipated. I think 275 for the men, people realize that that's a pretty attainable weight for guys to be able to hit.
Right.
But 185 still, I think our perception of how strong the field of women is now, where 185 is a bar that a pretty large percentage, maybe I would guess 50%, can comfortably hit. Where we had girls in the round of 4 who thought that was going to be a pretty elite level score and ended up still being a good score, but certainly not the score that they had thought it was going to be.
Right.
So I think what we're seeing is that these weights that we're seeing the girls move is just needs to climb up and up and up. Certainly if we're testing at the level of what we expect a semifinals athlete to be able to compete and move.
So strength still is, as a prerequisite for CrossFit, competing in CrossFit, strength needs to be a major priority for these athletes.
Absolutely. And what I actually really enjoyed about Bosman's approach to strength in the quarterfinals is I'm kind of the, it might be a hot take here, that I don't think 1 rep maxes have a place in online qualifiers. I think most of our strength tests should be tested in a CrossFit style workout. And when Bosman puts a 185 bar and a 275 bar into this workout, he's kind of setting the standard for what the expectation is if you want to be at that level. So if you want to be a quarterfinals athlete and you want to compete and challenge yourself to go into maybe the next stage, now that a 275 barbell for a clean and jerk and a 185 pound barbell for the girls, that is the standard set, which going into the next year gives all of our athletes like a really great, attainable, tangible thing to train for, that if that barbell shows up, they're ready to move it.
This workout in and of itself will be one that'll be redone and redone and redone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. It's kind of a barometer. And then what's cool about it is you can compare yourself to how athletes did in the quarterfinals. You can see where you stand. But I agree with you with respect to the 1 rep max test.
Yeah.
For the reason being, there's things that happen with a 1 rep max test, just body positioning, not feeling it that day, like in athletes not making good judgment calls with respect to loading to that 1 rep max, and not being starting too heavy, for example, or starting too light and ending up with too many reps. All of the different things of the components going to 1 rep.
Yes.
Well, and being able to cycle a heavier weight, like at the 85% range,
is a great test of fitness.
And a good indicator of overall strength or overall strength capacity.
Yeah. Well, I think in an online qualifier, the margin for error is so large that it doesn't exist in a in-person competition. So Eric Roberts, one of our athletes, made a
That's
good point to me.
Yes, that's
He was like, "Hey, I love lifting heavy, but if there's a 1 rep max thruster, why isn't there a 5K run?"
Right.
There's if we're going to test single
Oh.
modality, then we need to test multiple single modalities because strength gets way over favored in a 1 rep max. Whereas when you look at a leaderboard, no matter what the test is, we should see the fittest people on top.
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily always happen in single modality tests.
That is and yeah, right. And the only way they could do it really would be a row. Right?
Yeah, you could do a 2K row
or an assault bike, but but again, for online testing, they aren't going to do that.
Well, how different would that second open workout be if the shuttle runs and burpee pull up was combined, if the heavy thruster was in between the rounds?
Oh,
so if you did it that way, the leaderboard would probably look exactly like our quarterfinals leaderboard does. The fittest athletes are at the top. But if you look at it as the way it sits, we've got a lot of different names in it. It's cool that it kind of lets people show off their skills. But if the test is a true test of fitness, I feel like in an online qualifier, sometimes those single modality tests don't necessarily show what it is we're trying to kind of represent.
Okay. Here's how, and I'll pull up the shared screen and see if I can do this right. Jamie normally does this part of the program. I'm going to see if I can get, I did it. Okay, cool. So here's how our athletes did, and apologies to any athlete that I might have gotten this wrong. But I think I got it all right. I went through it and I double checked it. But these are our athletes. And in the my overall take on it was, it was really cool because I didn't expect this large of improvement. So what you see is their first placement number. So say, for example, Amanda, she was in the open in our region. She was 2,116th. And then in the quarterfinals, she ended up 795th overall. And then, but if you look at all of our athletes as an average, it's like 58 to, it's basically 60% improvement in placement. Now, some of that they get a benefit of. There's, probably 30% of the athletes that qualify don't actually do the quarterfinals, so they get some benefit there. Not necessarily a lot, but they get some benefit from those athletes not doing it. But it is impressive to see this amount of gain. And what I wanted to talk to you about, I was going to ask Jamie Lee. I'll ask you. You probably know even better than Jamie Lee, is to why. What do you think contributed to the gains that our athletes had in terms of placement over their open score in the quarterfinals?
Well, one big shout out to Jamie Lee on this one, because part of the reason why is because we don't stray away from any high skill, heavy barbell, anything like that. I would think you could ask almost everybody on the list, maybe not everyone, whether they thought they would do better in a quarterfinal setting or a open setting. And most of them are excited for the quarterfinals because it gets to test the things that we really train year round. We don't stray away from any of the things that are going to show up. And even something like crossovers, we pay attention to what's going on at the top level. Jamie's always preaching, if it's at the games, it's going to trickle down, right?
Yeah.
So we've been doing crossovers for 6 months now.
Yeah.
That wasn't even, I didn't even see why that was controversial, because I felt like everyone should have known that was coming.
Right.
But all of these athletes, GHD volume, heavy barbells, crossovers, whatever it is, all of these athletes are doing that stuff on a pretty regular basis. And even our regular class programming heavily favors things like ring muscle ups and bar muscle ups and heavy dumbbell snatches and things like that. Those are all things that our regular classes incorporate. So to me, it was pretty obvious that going into the quarterfinals, pretty much all, and as I'm seeing now, all of our athletes improved one over the other.
And Jamie said, don't forget the chest to wall handstand push-ups.
That's right. We've been doing wall phasing handstand push-ups since they showed up at the games. We started doing it. Yeah.
And those were actually interesting. I want to talk about that movement a little bit, but names that jumped out. Cynthia Pamet was up 76% over her open performance. and she ended up 218th in our region. And as we watch these athletes, and the other one, Sean Scott, 80% improvement, 757 to 153. Pretty damn impressive quarterfinal performance from Sean Scott. But as we look at these athletes, and I watch these athletes go, and our members watch these athletes go, these guys are freaking good. I mean, they're good.
yeah.
When you guys are going, we look at it and just go, holy crap. Like it's very humbling for the rest of us to watch you guys go and do this. And it's, for me, it's inspiring because I like to see what human capacity is, right? I like to see the boundaries of human performance tested, and to demonstrate what humans can do. We get them in a mindset, well, no one could do it that fast, and then someone does it that fast. You're like, oh crap.
Oh yeah.
And here's what's amazing. Within this group, and they all did it well, and they've all made massive gains in the last few years, especially. No one here qualified as individuals for our regional as individuals, which speaks to just how unbelievably high the performance levels are at those that are qualifying for semifinals, and then those that are qualifying for the games. Like it's mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of walking into a CrossFit gym is there's a distinct when you walk in here, everyone in here, nobody comes into the gym to maintain their level of fitness. Everybody comes in here to strive to the highest capabilities that they can possibly get to. And all of the members, all of these athletes here have pretty much started as class fitters here.
Yeah.
And have built up in the last 2 years, especially, I mean, Cynthia and Kendra and Cole and Sam, all these people have just grown immensely. And I think that's why it's cool to see. But then you realize that there's just limitless growth that can be achieved. And when you look at the top end, it's like those athletes are still pushing to just do more and more and more. And it's going to keep getting fitter and fitter and fitter.
Martin Niera, who is from Belgium, he lives here and trains with us, told me that last year he was in the 48th percentile in Europe.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if that was the largest year-over-year growth.
He would, and so I want you to understand this, right? So in the Open, he ended up this year at 5,270, which placed him in the 91st percentile, I think it was.
Yeah, he was 91 or 92.
Yeah, 91 or 92. In the year before, he was 48th percentile. and he said to me, he goes, "Hey, look at this, like changing environments from where he was to where he is today, and being in and around these athletes, and kind of looking and saying, and to her credit, Laura Erlang told me this too when she first came here. She she was doing like a Fran like workout, and then she dropped, she got off the pull-up bar and she went to go do her thrusters, and she stood at her bar and the girls were already doing thrusters, and she's like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to pick up the bar now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the environment plays such
a
massive. I mean, at Diablo, it's about as good as it gets
here.
And I think you talk to Sean Scott or Emily Scott, who were high level athletes before coming here. They've come here and had nothing but praise to say about the environment that we have here. And when you get words like that from people who have trained in other locations, it means a lot as far as what we've created here.
It's the same thing in the Masters RX Plus class. Carrie Hummel and Angela, her last name's escaped me, but anyway, but Carrie and Angela said to me this weekend that because she's gotten so much better, she's doing handstand push-ups and in workouts now. She was doing crossovers. She's just knocking out crossovers.
She's gotten her wall walks. I know she'll appreciate that wall walks,
right?
She's been fighting for those wall walks
too. And I'll tell another story that's related to that. I wanted to get into that a little bit, but they said the same thing, that being around people that are better than them kind of changed their mindset and made them work harder. And I think that goes at every level here, right? From
100%, yeah.
This morning watching Jonathan in my 6 a.m. class, brand new, you actually put him through his startup.
Yeah.
And he started out with a barbell on overhead squats, and I watched him, I caught him, and I immediately went to him because I'm like, okay, he looks unstable. I need to go talk to him. So we got him stabilized. And I see him keep looking at other people, and we worked on that positioning and getting locked in, and then, you know, starting with the hips. He was getting a little better, I said, look, just, he goes, should I put weight on? I said, no, just stick with the weight that you got. And then he did a set of 8 with an empty barbell, and it was so comfortable by then. And he kept looking. I go, okay, put some 5s on, and then put some 10s on. And he did. But the whole time it was him watching and going, okay, that guy's doing it, you know. And then he would watch how they do it, and then he would duplicate it. And he was literally getting better just being in and around these folks.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and all the members who go in these startups and go into class, they get to just learn off of the environment that they're in. Luckily, we are at a gym where we have a lot of members who've been here a long time and have really developed a lot of skills. So the bar for entry, just when you walk in, you can look around and you can learn so much just by watching these people.
Watching every single and letting and again, leaving your ego at the door and allowing yourself to suck and not worrying about it, because you're going to be that person. So Jonathan, you know, 6 months from now, a year from now, he'll be the guy that someone else will walk in and go, damn, he's so good. Well, he will be, because he moves really well. And someone's going to look at him and go, shit, I'm not going to be as good as that guy. And he's going to be the guy that's pulling other people along. But related to that story, Angela did comment to me that about her wall walks. And she said that she was scared to death, literally said she was, you know, almost crying about her wall walks. And Cynthia and Kendra encouraged her, gave her some pointers, encouraged her, and got her to get through her wall walks. And she was ecstatic. She got through the whole first round of wall walks, got through. And
had a great workout.
Yeah, had a great workout. And I think that's something that other affiliates can take away, or should take away from this conversation, is that as you develop competitors that want to compete, don't shy away from from competing because you're worried about a competition environment. All you need to do is make sure that your competition members are still doing classes, still contributing to the community. I think that's super important. And we've had no shortage of amazing stories from our competition community helping people out, and our members love to judge the competition community. It's like a thrill for them. It's like they've, you know, and it's an honor for them to judge you guys during quarterfinals, for example. Coming and doing that was cool.
Yeah, no, it's and having people come cheer and change weights and judge and be a part of that.
Yeah,
like it is Diablo first among like overall else. It is we're a big team, and it's a team effort to get those athletes through. And that's really cool to be.
I love seeing the weight changing, by the way, because it's almost like being in the pits at a NASCAR race. Like, you know, you got to get out there. You know, you got to put the right weights on. You got to stay out of the way of the athlete, but you're part of the action. You're helping out.
It's a team effort. It really brings everybody into it.
Yeah, little things like that, like having them judge, having them help organize, having them keep score, having monitoring the videos and make sure the videos are done right. Anything you can do to get your community involved in the process is helpful. The one thing I want to talk, because I know you don't have much time with me here, and then you guys are going to be left alone with me for a few minutes. I'll talk about the other stuff, but I wanted to talk to you about, so real quick, V-ups, crossovers, and wall-facing handstand push-ups. When I first saw these, I was like, oh, and I kind of made fun. I actually made I published something in my stories about it. It was kind of funny. I thought, this is silly, you know, V-ups and crossovers. Wall-facing handstand push-ups, I get it, because I saw those at the games. Those were unbelievable, and they were unbelievably difficult for people. But what are your thoughts on the V-ups and the crossovers in the quarterfinals?
You know, I like crossovers. I actually think they have a place. I think it's funny that we've decided that the rope passing twice underneath your feet is the standard of fitness, and the rope crossing over is a party trick or a schoolyard thing. Like, why is that the double under is the gold standard of jumping a rope? But we can't mix it up. I mean, the jump rope has essentially been used for fitness modalities for a long time. And we should have those skills. Those should be things that we express. The V-ups, I feel like, is a scale down from other skills that we do. And I don't know if the quarterfinals, in my opinion, was the place to test that. I think throwing that into the open or, you know, main site or anything like that, like those are good times for that. But I don't know if there's any athletes who got to the V-ups and were like, this is the stop for me. I need to go and spend the year working on V-ups.
Right.
You know, like that was my only thing with the V-ups was I felt like it was a scale down to some of the more challenging movements that we do, especially spare with the GHD sit-up. The V-up is a pretty scaled down move
versus the yeah.
GHD sit-up.
Okay.
So that was my only gripe with the V-up, but I don't think it's a bad movement.
Yeah.
I like a V-up. I think the crossover is great.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought about it from this perspective. Well, one, I started looking at videos of crossovers because I wanted to figure out how to do them because the age masters testing is coming up, and I figure it's probably going to be in there.
It's going to be there. It will.
But I watch people that are really good at it, boxers, and I talked to someone here like Coach Austin, who is really good at crossovers. He's a martial arts guy, did a lot of martial arts. And then I watched this video. I'm like, oh, these guys are badass.
Yeah, they're hard.
Yeah, they're hard.
Yeah.
And you can get to where you can do them really, really fast. And then I thought about it, and Jamie Lee pointed this out. Look, you know, they take coordination and agility, and those are part of the 10 components of fitness, which I just pulled up on my screen. These are the 10 components of fitness according to CrossFit. And I have to agree, coordination and agility and balance and accuracy. Those are all skills that are part of it, and those are the ones they don't really only get better with practice. And the other one, the V-ups too, require some balance. They require stamina, definitely abdominal stamina, but like you said, like that, you know, it's a scaled down version of what you're already doing, the GHD. I did have a number of athletes tell me that messaged me or said that it was one of the hardest things. Jamie Lee said V-up should have been straight leg.
Oh, the standard on the V-up got a little wonky there.
I love it. Jamie Lee knows how to put his own comments up. He's in, but his device isn't connected.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah,
he'll just talk to us.
Jamie Lee's got a little FOMO. He's at home sick, but he's right. Man, I'll tell you what. The straight leg V-ups, I struggle. Like my knees have to be bent almost every one.
Oh yeah. Well, what we didn't test was flexibility, right?
Yeah.
That was out of our components of fitness here. We wanted to test a couple of them, but we just thought flexibility wasn't a fair one to test.
Right.
Yeah. I think definitely the straight leg strict V-up is a much more challenging movement.
But we would have had judging issues with that. We would have seen the videos. Like if we said straight leg, I think that was one that like Adrian and then the team probably said, okay, yeah, let's make a straight leg. And then someone said, okay, do you want to, Andrew Hiller is going to send us all these videos of these athletes, Noah Olson with a slight knee bend, or
yeah, or the athlete who doesn't qualify for the semifinals because their femurs are too long, and then you're going to have all of the people talking about how it's not a fair movement.
It's not a fair movement. That's right. Some people are taller than with high hit. That's right. Long femurs.
Yeah, you'll get hashtag spare long femurs or something. So I think that was probably why they didn't go with that.
That's probably true.
But it's still a great movement.
Yeah.
My whole thought was nobody who's been training is going to get caught up on that.
Yeah.
And no one's going to be like, that was the hole in my training V-ups.
Yeah. Which workout of all of the 5 workouts do you think was like the most impactful in terms of scoring? So workout 1 was the front squats and muscle ups, and then went into the chest to wall push handstand push-ups. Workout 2 included the crossovers and was the dumbbell snatches. 3 was the clean and jerk, the heavy clean and jerk with high box jumps. 4 was the endurance one. That was 1,000-meter, 20-minute AMRAP with rowing, GHD sit-ups, rowing, and then V-ups. And then the last one, the final test, which was cool. This one was I actually really enjoyed watching, with 21-15-9 of deadlifts and then chest to bar pull-ups, and then that swapped out for bar muscle ups, and then finally swapped out with rope climbs. Which one of these do you think was like provided the most separation on the leaderboard in terms of not just our community, but the community at large?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the worldwide leaderboard, the top 1%, the best of the best. I don't know if any of these tests were really stand out to me as something that was going to separate the field out. I thought it was a pretty well written set of tests here for the
Okay,
best
good.
of the best.
That's good.
I certainly think as you move away from the very, very top, workout 1, testing, if you weren't really on your handstand walks, it started with 225 feet of handstand walks.
That's right. Because it was yeah, that's what Yvonne had said too. There was a hell of a lot of
And they were
handstand
25
walks.
foot unbroken segments. So you couldn't kick up and go 5 feet, kick up and go 5 feet. So certainly that was a big part of that one. And then paired with the wall facing handstand push-ups and the ring muscle ups, there was a lot of space for there to be holes in your training going into this.
Right.
Like I said, here we happen to train those things all the time, but I definitely know the CrossFit community, not everyone is focusing on those things. The GHD volume has less than it has been in previous years, but if you don't train GHDs, that's always a nasty set of volume to take on during the quarterfinals. And I know we had some people coming to test it here at Diablo who are not Diablo members, and I saw them pull up and I was chatting with them before their workout. And I was like, you may want to do that GHD one after the last workout, because if you don't do that kind of GHD volume, that'll also kill you.
Oh yeah.
Trying to do.
And we had a couple people do that.
Yeah. So they did the rope climbs and then went over to the GHD, which is a pretty good way to spare at least one of your scores there.
Well, it just a related story to that. Sam Mendez did the GHT workout first and then did the rope climb or the bar muscle up rope climb one. In his bar muscle ups, he got 2 in and was like, he had to call it.
Oh yeah.
And waited came in the next day and was able to kill it.
Yeah, you do 100 GHDs and you're not ready for that. It'll mess you up.
He has very good bar muscle ups.
Oh yeah.
He was missing bar muscle ups.
Well, that was Sean Rifle, another athlete who's got amazing bar muscle ups. And he walks over to me and says, I just failed my first warm-up bar muscle up. I haven't failed a muscle up this year. And I'm like, well, hopefully that 3, 2, 1 go juices kick in, and then you're ready to get one.
He did say chicken wing health. He had to chicken wing them to get them.
Oh yeah. So I thought workout 4 was probably one of those ones that caught people up. And then if you didn't have crossovers and you weren't prepping for that,
right?
But across the board, every workout kind of seemed to have its own new flavor, which is cool. I like that Bosman's it's not one test that's this kind of funky weird thing that you're doing. They're all kind of different and have his own flair on them, which is cool.
Well, that's cool. Now let me just ask you. So you got your team is getting together and going. So we're going to try and qualify a team for the semifinals, and I'm super hopeful that we do deliver a team to semifinals. It looks like we have certainly the talent and capacity to do it. It's going to be difficult, as we've seen in the individual competition, that how good this freaking region is.
Yeah. It's getting better and better.
So the team competition coming up, do you expect the workouts to be variations of this like they did last year?
So last year they were a little bit different. The year before,
that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, 2021, they were carbon copies.
Yeah.
And I did both the individuals and the team that year, which was
and that was back to back.
That was back to back weeks,
God.
and that was a rough go. I think they learned their lesson from that, and they decided to kind of mix it up a little bit more than that.
Right.
But I think they're going to test a lot of the same things. I don't think you could write a test that didn't test similar things to this, because I feel like we really hit the full range. We tested high skill gymnastics and heavy barbell and cardio and capacity.
I, as an affiliate owner, I like it because if they stay very similar, just because I know what the layout's going to be.
Oh, that'd be too easy though.
Well, I know, but but staying in this range or close to this is helpful as an affiliate owner. You want to kind of, okay, I can set it up. Having a lot of variation is, makes it a little bit more challenging. Can you tell us who's on your team yet?
Yeah, so we made the final announcement yesterday. Beth Stankovic, Emily Scott, Christian Boyd, and myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's our team that we're going with. And if you haven't, Beth, you'll see in the mornings. Amazing athlete. She's been with us for 3 or 4 years now. She came over from Davis, and she works in this area, but she trains early in the morning.
Yep, early
in the morning, in open gym, and then she's here on Saturdays. And she was at Friday Night Lights judging, and then Emily Scott, they moved into the Antioch area, and then they commute here, and she trains in the evenings. You'll see her here, and most everyone remembers her from the Open. Her lifts were just outstanding, And then Christian, boy, they're newer. He and his wife are newer, and they're also from I think they're from the Brentwood area.
I believe so, or Discovery Bay.
Yeah, Discovery Bay, and then they're training over here. And he's a former regional athlete.
Yeah, he's got some sanctional experience. Yeah. Emily was a semifinal team athlete. Beth has obviously been to the games and done that thing. So there's a lot of experience putting this group together.
Cool group of people.
Yeah, not a ton of experience of us all working out together, which is fun.
Yeah,
from the standpoint of, you know, constantly jumping into a test and see what we can do, but definitely for talented athletes.
Well, if they qualify, we'll certainly know about it. We'll put it out there, but then you're going to see them coming together a lot to learn to move together, synchro stuff, you know, one athlete working, one athlete holding something or hanging from something, lots of worm stuff as well. All the fun stuff. Yeah.
You can only do so much in an online setting as far as synchronization and things like that. But certainly if we qualify and are getting ready to go in person, we'll pull all the stops out.
And that's going to be down in Pasadena. That'll be over Memorial Day weekend. And tickets are already on sale for that. We'd hope to get a big crew from Diablo down there, but you know, I don't want to get ahead of myself on it. What was the question I had for you on teams? Okay, well, we'll let that go. I wanted a Masters let me ask you what the dates on that for your quarterfinals starts next Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday through Friday.
So you go Wednesday through Friday.
Yeah, we'll try to do as many of those tests at times that the community can be a part of.
Yeah, they'll love that.
So probably in the afternoon. I think it's 4 workouts they've announced over 3 days.
Yeah, 4 over 3.
And we will also be putting another team together, which right now will be Sean Rifle, Cole, Cynthia, and Kendra to go head to head with our team.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, just to keep the competitive energy up.
Yep.
So we'll try to do that when other people are around and are able to watch. But it comes down to a lot of when the schedules kind of match up with 4 athletes.
And real quick before you go, because I know you got to go. Masters and teens. Masters are right after that. So Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is the Masters competition.
Mm-hmm.
And again, same thing. My feeling is there'll be variations of these workouts that these guys just did.
I would think so. Yeah. Okay. At least all the Masters athletes that I'm working with, we're hitting those same skills quite a bit, right?
Different, now. Probably packaged differently in terms of the workouts because it's only 4 tests.
Yeah.
Versus 5.
Yep.
And one teen athlete that'll be doing that with us as well, and that's
Taylor Madge.
Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be a lot of fun. So that's the following week. So from Wednesday of next week, not this week, Wednesday of next week through Sunday, keep your calendars clear and come on in and cheer for these athletes. Anything else you wanted to add while you're on the podcast?
No, I just wanted to thank the Diablo community. I know we've got a lot of people who listen to this who are not part of the Diablo community, but I know our athletes are just massively appreciative of what the community did for them this weekend. And we're trying to make sure that the community comes first and foremost in everything that we do. So I really appreciate all that.
And that shows in a lot of different ways. One, helping our members get through the Open, judging for our members through the Open, even when you guys are trying to get ready for your own workouts to qualify. And then, the other stories that show up as well. And again, they know the pressure of judging. One particular story that stood out was Sean Scott doing crossovers.
Yeah.
And a certain judge that had been almost critical of the counting of double unders during the Open was judging Sean Scott on crossovers. And on the crossover, you have to count the crossover plus the return of the rope. So that's 2 jumps. You count the jumps.
So anytime the rope crosses, it counts as a rep.
That's right.
Not when the arms cross, but if the rope crosses.
Yeah.
Which means the first one doesn't count, but once it crosses one time, it counts. And then when it crosses back, it counts.
That's right. So there was a couple of instances where the Diablo judge, it was only counting the crossover section, which made the athlete have to do twice as many reps. And in this case, the mayor of Diablo, Dean Quimbayo, was the judge for Sean Scott. And And Sean was there, and he was so calm about it. And I think I could tell that he knew, and other people were watching were kind of unsure as to if it was right or not. And there was some confusion on the interwebs about it as well. And then Adrian Bosman posted about it and said, "Hey, here's how you do it." But after the workout was done, Sean, verified, yes, these were wrong. Yes, he did almost twice as many reps as he should have. Fortunately, he didn't get that deep in the workout, but he waited about 30 minutes and redid the workout, and it was no beef. He was like, it happens.
He didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I
he
know
didn't even say anything to Dean.
Dean found out about it, of course, and
Yeah.
we'll continue to make fun of Dean for a while now for that. But Sean didn't say a word. He just, finished his workout. Thank you so much for judging. Goes to the back room, redoes a grueling workout. 30 minutes later, I'll just give it a shot, grab another judge and do it again, and then improves his score by multiple rounds.
Yeah.
Which to me is just a testament of like his character.
Yeah.
He's not going to get angry at anyone. He's not going to blame anyone. He's just going to take responsibility for it and do it again.
Our competition athletes, our best judges, and then me and others know how tough it can be to judge and how nerve-wracking it can be to judge our RX Plus athletes, because you don't want to get it wrong, but it's easy to.
Especially with new movements.
Yeah, with movements.
We have standards that sometimes are moving targets.
Yeah.
They're not the same year over year, so it happens so frequently.
But it was a real example of just how awesome our community is and how awesome the athletes are in relationship to the community and bringing everybody together for the common cause. And Sean was super good about it, and Dean was good about it too. It was all good.
Yeah. No hurt feelings anywhere.
Right. Right on with, man. Thank you very much for being a part of it. I'm gonna get a little bit into the strong stuff, just as a wrap up. But if you need to go for your PT,
yeah, I'm gonna go talk with another one of our athletes.
Oh, right on.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, Jackson. That was awesome. And so here's what I will do. Boom. Yeah, the RX Plus athletes do rock. So just the last thing I wanted to talk about. We are introducing more Olympic lifting. So Coach Carey, who runs essentially our weightlifting program now, 3-day-a-week program, doing the programming with Coach Jamie Lee. She cornered me with Coach Amy, who was competing, by the way, at the Masters Nationals this weekend. She was not happy with her performance, but she hit her clean and jerks. And I think on her snatch, even though she hit one, I think she got rejected on it. So it wasn't the performance she wanted, but she like she said, if you're not winning, you're learning. But Coach Amy, a very accomplished weightlifter and Masters national champion, and Coach Carey, world record holder, cornered me last week or 2 weeks ago to ask for more strong, meaning they want 5-day-a-week programming and they want a longer strength cycle. So ordinarily our strong programming tests once a month. So every 4 weeks, it's basically a 4-week cycle with lots of complexes in it. What we're going to do is we're going to extend that out 8 weeks. So have 8-week programming with a long-term target of the American Open, which I believe is in the fall. But to get to the American Open, weightlifters have to do a competition beforehand to essentially qualify for the American Open. So they're going to build the programming around that essential qualification competition of some sort, and then the American Open eventually in the fall. It is essentially building a true weightlifting program here at Diablo. 5-day-a-week programming. We will still have classes 3 days a week, but there'll be 5 days of programming available, meaning that athletes that want to do 5 days a week of strength training they'll just have to do 2 of those days in open gym, in which we have plenty of time in our Olympic lifting area for that to happen. The 5-day-a-week program will be available starting in April, on April 3rd, that Monday, April 3rd. And the classes are going to be a little bit different. You'll see less complexes. You'll have the snatch and the clean and jerk focus, but less complexes. More of a traditional Olympic lifting style program. we are going to offer a evening class for members. There's an RX Plus class right now that is at 5:30. We're going to offer a 4:30 class on Tuesday for our members. And then on Thursdays, we'll do a 5:30 p.m. strong class in addition to our morning classes that'll stay on the schedule. But that 5:30 class is going to go off in the main gym, so we can accommodate as many as 20 lifters in the main gym area on Thursday evenings at 5:30. That class we expect to be a lot of fun. And then we'll have our Saturday classes. So I'm looking forward to that going. And then the other part of it is that Coach Amy is going to become the head coach of our Diablo Strong USAW lifting team. She's going to be moving to that team beginning this week. She's essentially on our Diablo Strong team. Carrie as well. And then we're going to encourage our athletes to sign up with the USAW. Those that want to participate and eventually do compete and at any level, join our USAW team and build up and our Diablo's Olympic lifting presence within the USAW. So that's kind of a big deal for our gym and certainly for Olympic weightlifting in our gym. And we're looking forward to launching that on April 3rd. So any questions, ask Coach Corey, Coach Amy, or Coach Carey, or Jamie Lee. Don't ask me. I don't know as much about it, but those guys do. And that should be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, Coach Corey was the one that kind of helped really push this along. I should give him credit where credit's due. Carrie and Amy had been speaking about it for a while, but Coach Corey was the one that really started pestering me about it, and this should help me get the conversations going so that we got it up and running. So thank you guys. That's it for our podcast this week. Hopefully Jamie Lee will be back and healthy by Monday of next week. And we'll go from there. Cheers.